All right, hello. How's everybody doing? So back in stormworks here, we're gonna keep working on the seaplane here. So yes, we gotta try to figure out some more stuff I want to do here. I like to get the engines going. So kind of finished up earlier today. I just put in this panel, so we're gonna go ahead and start plumbing up the engines. So we need two of these. And I think I will work on, how did this get beiged up all weird? Let's see. There we go. All right, good. We'll start working on this one. And then I might change this one up to suit this, so. Yeah, I'll have to screw around with panels and everything, but at least this will give me something. So let's start working on this. I want to get these engines running. Um, Battery. Let's start plumbing some stuff up here. Trying to decide if I want to put in. Yeah. I put that there. Probably wouldn't want that on the bottom with. Yeah. Definitely wouldn't want that on the bottom because of the ocean spray coming in. So let's try that. Let's see how we like the look of this here. Can put dueling intakes in. I think that might be what I'm going to do. One of them might be fake, or likely both are going to be faked. All right, something like there. Yep, that's a full piece, isn't it? Huh, shit, that's not going to work. All right, let's see. Where can I put that? Ideally, you'd want them there because the be up out of the spray. All right. Yeah, I like the look of that. There'll be our intakes there. Very good. Exhaust we gotta do. That's coolant manifold there. I'm trying to find a good place to start plumbing exhaust out. I can't go there. Yeah, we got our coolant going here. So I gotta think about how I want to run exhaust. It's not ideal, I'll tell you that. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna be able to see that shit. Okay, I'm gonna want them on the exterior here. Stop that. All right, thank you. All right, there's exhausts. Yeah, that's why I wanted to do a pusher. That was a big part of it, so I think that'd be neat. So twin counter-rotating prop pusher, I thought would be kind of a cool idea. So yeah, it was something I wanted to do. All right, so we got air manifolds plumbed. We need fuel. Give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire. Okay. That's gonna be a pain in the ass. Shiza. Big old shiza there. Crap. Uh, hmm, hmm, hmm. Yeah, this is not helpful. Painting myself in the corners here. Yeah, I thought pushers would be cool and do some counter-rotating props. Yeah, I think that'd be a little bit. I want them to look kind of beefy too, so squaring them off a little bit helps. Plus, this will help me rack in a bunch more stuff, so we can kind of kill some of what I just did, which is good. There we go. That frees up a bunch of space for plumbing, doing more plumbing. Alright, so let's button this back up, and then I will rip it apart to find where I want this stuff to go. Alright. So I was thinking dueling exhausts would be kind of cool. Let's see. Yeah, dueling exhaust, and then I would like to have the intake on the top, so let's do that. And we gotta plumb the exhaust, so let's go ahead and on the exterior here. Alright, so right here where the flap is, those need to be, that needs to be filled in there. Alright. Thing is the fuel, where the fuel is to come in. I should be able to run the fuel down the center section right there, so that will work. Alright, I can make that work. Okay. Literally every time I do this, I put those on backwards. Okay. All right, so as you can see, spawn particles. This is something that was done that people have been asking for a long time. Again, people keep saying, oh, the devs don't add anything that we want. This is something that a lot of people ask for, was the ability to shut off particles. And people will ask, well, what's the point of cats? Use them if you want. Don't if you don't. Real simple. You know, makes life real simple. Use the things you want. Don't use the things you don't. More parts is not a bad thing. Like some people acting like, oh my god, this part has no use anymore. Yeah, it still does. They didn't remove the functionality. They just made it so you could also get rid of it a different way. So if you don't want it, don't use it. I don't understand the thought process some people have with that, where they're like, they added something, I'm upset. It's like, this doesn't make any freaking sense to me. All right, good. There's exhaust handled. I like that. But yeah, that was another good thing. What glad they added was cool stuff like that. The other thought is putting the intake here. Yeah, I like that. If I do that, I can do this. Yeah, I've not been able to watch a video on see what they added recently. For the Q&A. I have not seen the Q&A video yet. There we go. I like that. A little bit more streamlined. All right, let me check some chat here. No, just design choice. You know, I wanted to do a pusher. How's it going there, noobs on camera? How are you? Oh, nice. That'll be good. Getting back into it. How's it going, Aaron? How are you? Yeah, second time today. Yeah, I was gonna get back to it. Yeah. Yeah. But def. Oh, great. Got another bot on Twitch. That's what they should call it instead of Twitch. They should just call it bots. Should call it bots. Alright, good. Alright, so we got that in. Next plumbing is fuel. Give me fuel. Give me fire. Give me that which I desire. Alright. Alright. So I'm putting fuel in these pontoons. And then I'm going to probably do wing root fuel as well. So here's some wing root fuel. It goes, not there. Where are you going to go here, sucker? There? No. I can't put any there. See if these can delete. Yeah, if I do this treatment, I could put them there. It's up there. Sit. When you sit down, buddy. Alright, that's good there. That gives me some space for fuel. Let's see. A spawner here. Meter here. Not good. So there's some wing root fuel there. Yep. Alright, good. So there's some wing root fuel. I gotta plumb that in. Ah, of course I got exhaust right there. Balls. That does not make life easy for me. That does not make life easy for me. Yeah. Because I'm plumbing the exhaust through there. I will replumb the exhaust. The fuel is going to take precedence here, so let's get that plumbed, and then I will go back and screw around with the exhaust. Because exhaust, I can fake exhaust. I can do a bunch of things to exhaust I can't do with fuel. So. All right. So that's starting to plumb up the fuel. Yeah, so fuel's plumb there. What's that about? Okay, that's required. I need that in there. All right. Do tank vents at some point. I gotta figure out where I want to put those. I'll vent the tanks into the engine nacelles. That'll be the easiest. All right, so that's fuel plumbed. I gotta work the vents on there. I have to work that angle there later, but I just want to get functionality in here. All right, so fuel is plumbed up for the most part here. I'll ventilate that, but I gotta rework exhaust now. So let's rework the exhaust. Just take this template here and cut that so I don't have to rebuild it again. I gotta get exhaust plumbed in again. Right there. All right, that's easy fix. All right, that's replumbed. All right, now we need a vent for the fuel, so that can go right here. All right, so here's fuel. Let's get a fuel vent in there. Again, you'd have fuel vents on real airplanes. You have them on all the real vehicles. Simple, simple, simple. Gas relief valve. Only let the gases out. Fluid port. That's it. Allows gases to go in and out. That's all it is. Doesn't allow fuel to get in and out. That's it. All right, good. So that's all ventilated. I'm going to grab another gauge here. Grab this. Let's go check out the, all right, so the, what's up with, oh, I don't have enough, do I not have fuel in this base? How much fuel do I have in this base? It seems like it filled one wing, so that's, do I not have tanks? Let's see. Yeah, check that number. See, this one's full, the other one's not, so let's respawn this. Save it real quick. Check chat in a second, guys. Go infinite resources. They're on. Should have filled up. I don't know why it didn't. Why it was tipping too. Yeah, I don't know why it's tipping. Something's causing a phantom force. My physics set to high. Let's see. Yeah, physics is high. Something's up at the moment. Let's see. We have 332 and 185. So 332 plus 185 times 2 is, that's 1,000 liters, so that's good fuel capacity too. We'll deal with that in a minute, why that's having issues. But we got the fuel set in there. We've got pretty much all we need there to run an engine, so start plumbing this up. Air, starter, prop pitch. So I have a constant speed propeller on here. That's one of the reasons why this was important to me, to get this this module in there. Then I need to hook up the fuel manifold. Find a place I want to hook that fuel manifold up. That's not a great spot there. All right, I can do it right here in the middle. I just got to ventilate somewhere else. All right, what we'll do is this. All right, good. That's plumbed in now. And so we're fueled up. Alternators. Cooling motor is going to be on and off. That's fine. We need Let's see what I need for this. I gotta play with this for now. That's panel. Let's catch up a chat. Oh, thank you much, Aaron. Appreciate it. Let's just catch back up where we were. Yeah, I like the 310. Oh, B-17's cool. Nope, nope, nope. We don't put fuel through the exhaust pipe. Yeah, oftentimes medium to big is much easier to do. Thank you much. Appreciate it, Aaron. I was thinking of doing pontoon landing gear, but just I'd have to make the pontoons too fat. Yeah, it's a gear problem. I'm gonna work on those gear. It's just I need to spawn them in the down position. That's the problem. Main gear retractable. All three gear retractable. The tail wheels retractable too. How's it going, David? Hello, hello. Yeah, it's definitely that issue that they're not spawned down. That's something I wanted to kind of get the gear looking the way I wanted, and then I'll go solve for that problem. So, all right, what am I doing? It wasn't doing it earlier. That's why. All right, I need to get the panel. So I saved this. Let me save it one more time. I gotta grab the canary. This was for one of Alistair's challenges. One of his challenges. All right. Where's my phone blowing up here? All right. That is engine recip, seats combiner, yaw bank system, all this shit I want. Artificial horizon, that's good. Physics sensor. We'll take a bunch of this stuff with us. What I was trying to do before, I might have even done it, was like make a set of panels and everything for all of my single engine recips. Make one for all of my twin engine recips. That way I just slot them in, but let me see what I have here for. Okay. All right, here's piston twin module. All right, let's look. All right, so what's this got for panels here? This has flaps, heat, flaps down, manifold pressures, RPM, temp, gear, temp, gear indicator, battery, volts, fuel. This is the starter and power, avionics, start stops. Yep, this is lights. Okay. So let's grab this and start putting this in there. I think that will save me some time. When was that made? That was made in 23. It still should be good though. Because this was on this piston twin here. Because, like, this is one part, like, I'm eventually saying I don't have much time to play anymore. If I can save myself some time by having these modules. So, like, I started making a module for if I have single engine turboprops, twin engine turboprops, some of my jets, and that way I can just slot them in and it makes it much, much quicker. Okay. All right, this is piston single plane, piston single. That is, okay. Bearing panel, physics sensor, lights, gear, electrical, composite data there, panel, flaperons. So I had flaperons on here. I'm not going to probably put flaperons on this. RPS. Yeah, making some module stuff. Like, say, for example, somebody had a competition or a challenge that I could, they needed a plane. I could go use this and just makes it that much quicker because it starts to get monotonous, especially when I don't have a lot of time to go through. That's one of the things that slowed me down on Alistair's last challenge was I was like, oh, I don't want to go build the panels for this thing. It's just like, wasn't looking forward to it. And that, that derailed me where if I had a set of panels for a twin engine boat, which I need to get done, then I could just slot all those modules in. It makes it so much easier. Okay. Prop pitch. I don't know if this had my constant speed propeller system in there, so I gotta look. But at least I can try to get the engines running here, so. Brakes. Alright. Oh, this is an old one too. Not using the physics sensor. That's fine, I can fix that later. Alternators. Yeah, I'm not going to be happy using these panels, I don't think, but I just need to get started. Give me something to start with. I can always trade out panels and rewrite everything if I want to later. And what we're going to do is this. All right. That will help me so we can try to hopefully get this off the ground. Try to get a flight in. Really wanted to get a flight in here. Where's that going to? Oh, that's the rudder control. That goes there instead. Yeah, I got some systems that are pretty old on this that I do want to change ups, but this will at least give me something to start with. And then I can, I'll probably, I'll make it a point to take this plane, build it up the way I want it, make a module for a twin engine reciprocating airplane, and then I can go from there. All right, roll. That's fine. AD WS. Yeah. All right, that's plugged. Let me see if this has a constant speed propeller. Panel. Prop pitch. Yeah, that's a constant speed propeller. So that's what I want. All right, that's good. See if I can't get this cranked. Yeah, see how the wheels don't sink in? That's because they're spawning down. That's the right way to do it. It's just you gotta go and do it. Shit. Oh, I accidentally deleted the framer on the door with the fuel tank. God damn it, I gotta fix that. Alright. Something's up with the right side. What is up with this fucking thing tipping over here? It's like there's no fuel over here. I don't get it. I gotta stick with that in a minute. How's I doing? Why is this not starting? Because the starter's not plugged in? That would do it. Okay. What is tipping this over? It just could be that's narrow as shit. I doubt it though. Alright, let's see. What is controlling thrust here? Should be... up down should be reset 100%. Unless I did something silly with this. Again, this is old, so I gotta go through it. That's what I'll do. I'll build up a whole new set of panels, which is gonna be annoying, but it'll make things much, much better. Alright, where's seat? The hell is seat? Seat right here. Okay, seats. 1 and 2. Oh my god, I'm using the old thing? That's not gonna work for me. That's an old way of controlling thrust for me. Alright, we'll do it. I'm just trying to test this out here, so. Let's make sure that this is not the case of why this is having problems is that it's, the stance is too narrow. I'm gonna probably redo some of this gear anyway. Alright, that's done. 1, 2's thrust. Or throttle in this case. Could be fuel injected, but doing one and no, they're fucking toggle, that's why. Alright, they're toggled. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna make some modules because that that's one of the things that slows me down from playing nowadays is it's I don't have the time to quickly like get to the stage, putting in panels and stuff, and it's a pain in the ass where it should be easy. Alright, good. That's heat. Where's park and brake? Alright, let's check the brakes. So ideally what I want to do is, I've done this before with, so I started working on some of these panels, and what I want to do is make a panel that daisy chains so that you're able to take an engine panel, and that panel then speaks to the next panel, and then the next. So if you want to do a single plane, you'd have that, then a twin engine, 3 engines, 4 engines, and you just keep adding panels. And so you got to kind of design the panel ahead of time for that in mind, so it's kind of challenging. So, all right, so I have no brakes on. All right, so that's fine. All right. Oh, prop pitch needs to be backwards because they're pushers. That could be a problem too. Why am I not able to push the thrust up now? What the hell? See, it's tipping over now. What the fuck is causing that? Some phantom force. Alright, let's check some controls over here so this isn't complete waste. Alright, that's left rudder, right rudder. That's correct aileron displacement. That's correct elevator displacement. What the fuck is causing this problem? I don't have... Let's do this. Make sure, because that's something I've changed recently that could be causing that, so... Alright, so I guess the prop should be backwards. I guess the negative was fine. But yeah, I'm gonna redo these panels. It's annoying. Why is it going backwards? Okay, 1 and 2 are doing RPS. What the hell is tipping this over? You know what it could be? It could be that fucking door. Let's do this. I doubt it's this door, but let's do this for now. Okay. Let's do that. I doubt that's the cause, but let's just do that. Gotta diagnose this phantom force too. Could just be the fuel, because the fuel's going in there asymmetrically. That could be causing it. So I gotta make sure that's diesel spawners in there, diesel spawners in there. Diesel spawner, diesel spawner. Make sure that those are sealed. They are. Okay. Why is it going backwards no matter which direction I have the props? That's funky. That is funky as shit. So the number that go into the prop should be negatives. Oh, because I have nothing hooked up on this side. What the frickin' hell? All right. Okay, that would do it. And yeah, they definitely should be. They should definitely, because the other plane was oriented forward, so these definitely should get rid of this negative here. All right. You know, I bet it is too. This number needs to be changed. Yeah, that would need to be negative. Or, let's see, negative X. I might have to reconfigure that too. It's a problem with Frankenstein, some of this shit. Alright, what we're gonna do is this. Do that. Just trying to get a test flight out of this sucker. I don't want to dick around too much with it. Just eats up too much time. Alright. Alright. There we go. I gotta put in tail wheel steering here, make sure that's connected right. That's backwards. Oh, that could be causing problems too. Let's get rid of that for now. Alright. See how well I have this balanced right from the beginning. Alright, good. Making progress here. Usually like to do 9 to 1s. Should see a marked thrust improvement. Or I stall at my engines. There we go. That's a big thrust improvement there. Alright, good. So what's happening there is the center of thrust is above the center of gravity. And so center thrust is right here. It's off the back of the propellers. So to keep it real simple here, let's do some quick pictures. So here is the center thrust, right? So the center thrust is going back there. Well, where's the center of gravity? Right here. So the center of thrust is above the center of gravity. What's it do? Push the nose down, right? So what you want to do is you want to counteract that by tipping these propellers so that the center of thrust, instead of where it's at, the center of thrust will do this. You want to angle the center of thrust down so the center of thrust is like this. And what that will do is it will counteract that. Do I want to do that or the other way? I got to play with the numbers. So let's, what we'll do here is get a keypad. And this is the best way to do it, is just test it out. And stick a keypad somewhere. Right there's fine. Or it isn't. And then you want to run this to your pitch on your prop. So, pitch. Pitch. Pitch, pitch. All right, good. And so what we'll do is we'll run it without it at first. And so what we're doing is we're correcting for this. And now IRL, they actually tilt the engines to prevent this from happening. So notice the tail's off the ground, okay? And so what I'm going to do, there's fucking oil everywhere. So what we're going to do is play with a number. So let's put 1 in there. And that's going to either make it really bad or really better the other way. Okay, so see how it's better the other way? It's keeping the nose from going up. Alright, so that is the correct direction. So we know a positive number is what we want. But, of course, we're not going to do 1. So that just showed us what number we need. We need a positive number. So let's do 0.1. And so, like I said, IRL, they'll tilt the engines. They tilt... Okay, so that's going the wrong way, actually. So let's do negative point... We gotta reset it here because we're gonna fall upside down. So you can see how likely what I did is... We can actually look at it. So I pushed them up, and I need them to go down. So I need them to go the opposite direction. So what this is gonna do is... I had it the wrong way, but... So right here... is the thrust is going to go down. So what you'd see IRL is they'd angle the engines down. So the engine itself would actually be tilted up. The front of the engine would be tilted up. The back would be tilted down. And then the thrust vector would be down. And that's going to help you get off the ground too. And instead of pushing the nose down, it's going to kind of counteract that and lift the whole thing up. And so that's what we're looking for there. So what I'm going to do is do a couple tests here. So we'll do negative. This is going to be negative 0.1. And so now that's tilting the propellers. So I wish that one thing that would be really cool for the devs to do is add this to ducted fans. If they did that, because fuck you. Stand by. I can't fucking out of my seat. I'm trying to test this and it's being annoying. Alright, I need to test this without it being annoying. So let's fix this in the hangar so we don't have to keep doing this 900 times. Yeah, I'm trying to think of the best way to do this. Let's go ahead and take the space bar, which should already be on toggle. Let's do brakes. And then we'll put a bumper in the front. What is that thing called? Friction. The friction pad. And so that will kind of stop us if it starts sliding. So that hopefully I can test this in the hangar without having to keep moving. Because I got to run the numbers on this. Yeah, so like, I showed somebody a picture of one of the engines angled. It should be pushing it. It's tough to tell here. Alright, I'm going to stop it and then see how it's still lifting it up by a lot. Alright, so let's try 0.5. Alright, so see how it's pushing it back on the ground? So it is a positive number. So see how it's pushing it back on the ground? That's with a positive number. Alright. Alright, good. So it's definitely a positive number. We just figured that out. So we can get rid of this. Alright, so positive number is what we need. So 5 is could be too much. I don't know. Let's do 0.5. It's likely too much. Let's do 0.15. This is going to help us get off the water, especially. And it's going to help us get in the air, angling the propellers. And you see how that just got us off the ground? So this is what you're trying to do, is tune these in. So 0.25 is probably too much. Alright, that will help there. And so that's counteracting the high center of gravity. Now this does have a gyro on it, but you know, it's pretty well balanced. So 1.5 was not enough. Try that. Now you don't kick the rudder in real life, especially with the twin, but in game, it doesn't. So when you bank like this, the upwind wing, it wants to go faster than the downwind wing, and that's why by rolling, you turn. Like for example, in the jets I fly, you keep your feet flat on the ground. In a twin, you keep your feet pretty much flat on the ground, and like a twin engine propeller, you just keep your feet flat on the ground, and you bank, and it turns. You don't kick the rudder like this. Rudder is used in the last second before you land in crosswind. That's pretty much all it is in a multi-engine aircraft. That's all you're doing with a multi. And so because this is like, you see we're like kind of nose down attitude, so I'm trying to fix this. So, yeah, especially when you're in cruise and you're level, you want to be actually nose up a little bit, so too much of that prop pitch is going to cause problems. My roll rate is a little slow, but it's not bad. My rudder is definitely not enough, and I think my elevators are not enough, so let's bring it back to the workbench and start tuning the gyro in. Alright. So let's see, where's the gyro? Again, this is from an old cap airplane. Yaw, I want... Let's do 35. Let's do 40%. Let's do pitch at 40. Roll rate I'm happy with. Try to dial in. I think, what did I put? Let's do 1.3 on this. Let's go with that number. It's definitely not enough. It's fucking annoying. Let's see. The other thing I've done in the past is... Stop it! Pain in the balls. Let's see. It is a little bit front heavy. Let me cut a little bit of ballast out of the front here. What I've done in the past, too, is tie that number into the flaps. So when your flaps are down for takeoff and landing, you're going to have... it's going to be helping you, giving you some lift. So I got some different methods I can try. Alright, that's right there holding us. It's not going to be enough, though. You see how it's floating on two wheels there? So I need to put a little bit more in. You turn, you bastard. Alright, 0.2. It's fucking annoying, this is. Let's try tying in with the flaps for now. I gotta put some flap in here. Alright, so we got some flap in there, which will help with takeoff anyway. And then when we go ahead and get rid of the flaps, that should get rid of that correction, which I don't really need in cruise. I don't have the friction of the ground to deal with, so that's another way I do that. Alright, good. Let's go ahead and do this. My prop pitch no, I don't want prop pitch on gyro. It's a counteracting force. It's supposed to counteract the center of gravity. I don't want it. Balls, cock and ass. It's gonna do this to me again. Pain in the ass you are. No, I'm gonna have to do both. Alright. Pitch there. What? Did I disconnect this one? Didn't disconnect the other one? What the fuck? I literally just went in there, tried to disconnect them. Is there what is fucking wrong with me? I literally just went in here to do this, to get rid of one of them. And it didn't do it. What is this? Oh, that's W. That's what screwed me up. What the fuck is this hitting? Okay, that's good. Oh my god. What is that? That's that. Okay. Yeah, that's where I want it. All right. Idle thrust is very strong, as you can see. Alright. Let's hook them both back up again. Fuck off with the WS. There we go. Getting annoying. I did full flap. God damn it. Flap went the wrong way. It's not helpful. All right. Alright, that's better. I'll catch up with chat in a second here. Get that somewhat fixed, that problem. It's mostly fixed, but it needs to be tweaked. There's still some tweaking to do. See, like, I have to really force the nose down to descend, which isn't great. So I gotta play with some of the characteristics of this. Really dive it to get it down. Problem too is me sitting right in the middle here. I gotta move my seat over to one side because I can't see. Right now I can't, because of that prop pitch, see I can't descend while I've got flapping like that, so I gotta play with that. See how I'm like trying to descend and it's essentially trying to fly me straight up. So I could fix this in other ways too. I'm gonna have to do that. So, all right, let me catch up with some chat. Yeah. Hello, Cray. How are you? All right. What? Why am I here? All right, so part of the things too is I have to make sure that this is balanced when I'm both seaplane and in airplane. So that's problematic. Let's see. If you remember if you watch my hull tutorial series, for an airplane, you want to have the center of gravity up about central to the wings for like an aerobatic plane. To get more stability, you want that below the center of lift, so it acts like a pendulum, and then it wants to be more stable. And if you had it outside of that, it's gonna, like, if you had it too high, it's gonna want to constantly roll over. So these are all things like they put in aerobatic planes and whatnot. Let's go ahead and save this right quick. All right, I'm gonna dip it in the water. I want to make sure it's still sitting in the water all right. Because we gotta get this plane to fly in the water as well, so that's the fun thing with seaplanes. How's it going there, Nathan? How are you? Yeah, one of the challenges with seaplanes is getting them working in all locations. What? What's going on down there? Oh, it's too light. All right, that's fine. I gotta fix this. Because I've got, that's part of my issue too, is the negative mass in there. They've got negative mass in here, so I gotta work with that. So one of the things you can do with the negative mass here, let's work with that. All right, so I'll show you what we can do here. First of all, I put some in the pontoons. Let's see. Let's get them out of... did I delete them out of the pontoons? I think I did. Yes, I believe I did. Yep, I did. Okay. So we got negative mass here. Let's look... I'll just look in the XML file and see... see where it is. All right, fuel factor is negative 2,000 on this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to weight this sucker up. And I'm going to add 2 of these. And this will allow you to trim the flying boat. And so what we'll do is let's actually delete these, that. And I'm going to weight this sucker up. And then I'm going to delete the weight. So this allows me to put the weight where I want it. That can go somewhere else for now. That's just the clutch. Okay. So if we put the center of gravity below the center of lift, so there's a couple things here. We put the center of gravity really low like I just did. All right. And we put it super low. Like this. It's exacerbating the problem of the center of thrust being up here. If the center of gravity is way up by the engines, that's going to minimize that tilting problem. So ideally, I don't really want to put it way down here. So if I can get some mass up high, that is helpful. I could put them into my fuel tanks. That's something I can do. That's a tube. Is that a tubey? That's a tubey. All right, now it's there. Okay. So I can put some mass up here, not a ton. What's this? This is a meter here. What do you meter? That's a meter there. All right. So ideally, I want to move my mass up. That will help with this problem. I don't have a ton of places I can stick mass. But ideally, if I can get my center mass in line with my center of thrust, that will help. And so one of the ways I can do it is the opposite of a boat. So a boat, I want to scram as much mass as low as humanly possible. And then I want to I want to reduce the entire mass so the mass is focused low. With this, I want to get it up at the wings, right by where the engines are. So that's going to help me get the center mass in line with the center of thrust. So that's something I want to do. So you see it going up. Now, the other thing I can do is I can add battle cannon pieces till I'm blue in the face. Or I can go back and I can find the center of gravity, which is right here. All right. And I can shift some mass by putting rocket motors in. All right, so I'm going to put some rocket motors in here. I'm going to put them up high. And I'm going to add mass to those. So what I'm going to do is come in here. And actually, ideally, if I put them right in the engine nacelles, that's going to be best. Right as close to the center thrust as possible. And so what this is going to allow me to do is move my center mass up high artificially. So put them right there, let's say. And we'll make those 0.98s, or 99s is fine. Make these 0.98s for now. All right, we'll save this as the this one. Now I'm gonna go in the XML, update that. All right, I can show you my screen. Anything on the screen I want? No, that's good. All right. All right, and so we're gonna go ahead and search for fuel. All right, here it is, right here. Fuel factor 0.98. Copy that. We'll take fuel factor 0.98, and I want to delete, or I want to add some here for these. So let's add, we're going to delete probably 2,000. So let's see. I want to add, let's add 2,000 apiece. All right, so now we have a lot of mass up really high. All right, so now both of those should be 2,000. All right, 1, 2. All right, so both those are 2,000. I'm going to save that. So I just added 2,000 fuel, essentially, with the rocket motor. Let's see. So that's now in there, and these are now, if we like highlight them again, I won't click on them, but they'll be 100%. So that's raising the center of gravity up. Now it won't show, but the center of mass can be very high, and you see it's sitting really low, and it's sitting lower than it was. So I added a bunch of mass to it. And now I'm going to trim with negative mass. So you can see right now the tail is having a hell of a struggle. And so we're going to work on that. And I'm going to put 2 more in here. So I'm going to put 1, and I'm going to try to delete the mass from pretty low. So it'll be here and say there. And then I want to make sure try to make sure these are equidistant from the center of gravity. So if I find the center of gravity, which is right there, and then that's what, 12 blocks, and then where's the other one? The other one is right here. And that is about 18 blocks. Okay. So I need to move that back, what, 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so now when I use this to reduce mass, I put a lot of mass up top. That's going to stay. The mass is staying up high. Then I'm going to reduce the entire mass of the vehicle. So that keeps the proportions correct where the upper section of the aircraft will weigh more. All right. So let's move these to 0.98, 99s, whatever. All right. Now we're going to delete off, say, what did I add? I added 2,000 per side. So let's delete 5,000. All right. So let's save this. All right. It's updated. All right, now we're going to search for 5,000, or for for what is it? 0.99. So we're going to find, okay, where is it? 0.98. Why are those 98s again? Did I just drag one of them to 98? No, I made them 99s. What are these showing now? Fuck, why are those still 98s? Okay. Oh, because did I save it wrong? I don't know. All right, let's try 98s. Fuck, this is gonna suck. I'll be all right. Okay, fuel factor. What the fuck? It's literally right here, verbatim. I don't know why it doesn't like it. All right, so the 298s are up top. They're gonna get replaced with. I'm literally looking at a fuel factor here. Right here, it says 0.98, but it doesn't like it for some reason in the search function. Right there, right there, right there, right there. Replace them. Okay, they're replaced. All right, there's 99. I don't know why it doesn't like it. All right, so now what we're going to do is we have two of them. I want to do a total of 5,000, and so I'll do 2,500 per. We'll replace all of those. They're good. Let's save that. Let's open it. Because I didn't open it, that's why. All right. So I'm redistributing weight. All right, so the first time it didn't take the weight add, so I need to... and then this bench pisses me off because it's set too high. All right, so let's go ahead back in there. I need to delete more mass off, so the 2,500s need to be more. All right, find next, find next. There's two of them. Let's try 5 bones. All right, good. Save that. Load it up. What the fuck is going on with this? This is annoying the shit out of me. I gotta find all the fuel factors. Oh god damn it. That's gonna be obnoxious that I have to jump down here again. Alright. What is up with this? I have to do this shit by hand here. Alright, 5,000. Oh, that's why it's negative 5,000, what I want. Alright. That's why. I just made it super heavy. Alright, I meant to make them negative 5,000. I made them positives. That's all it was. Alright, good. They're negatives now. Let's save it. Getting tired. Alright, that's too much, as you can see. It's now a dirigible. Right. So that's too much. Let's find, where are the other ones then? Alright, fuel factor, 5,000. Here's 2,000. Let's make that 4. There's 2,000. Let's make that 4. There is probably the negative 5, negative 5, negative 5. All right, let's save that. All right, so it's you can see it's floaty. So it's floaty. So we need to take the subtraction and knock that off a little bit. Or we need to add, so we can do either one. So what I'll do is these adds, I think I'll make the adds bigger. $4,000. Let's change them with 5s. All right. All right, so making them, so somewhere probably 500 is the area I need to work with here. All right, so there's 5. All right, and we want to make them, let's say, 4,500. Try that. You know, this glitch I use reasonably often because we don't have proper buoyancy, and so this allows me to move things where they really would be. For example, like I was saying, we don't have the ability to really balance things the way they are IRL, so this allows me to move weight around. All right, what I'm going to do here is go in the back. All right, so the front is fine. The back needs to come up a little bit. So right now it's set to, this is one of the negatives. And so what I'm going to do is set it back to 0.98 or 99. We're going to save that. And then I should be able to find this. Now I can tell which one's in the front and the back. All right, so here's the 99. And I was subtracting, what did I subtract from there? What do I have here? I have 0.99. I have 45, 45. Did I not do negatives anywhere? God damn it, this fucking thing. I hate it how it doesn't show me the end of it. 245s. And then this one should be the negative one. -5. So we want to do more than 5 on that one. Let's do subtract 5,500. God damn it, where is it then? It's not going to find it, you sucker. I hate this sometimes. This search function on here sucks. All right, there it is right here that it wouldn't find it. All right. Definitely brought the tail up, but not enough. It's actually not too bad. It's not terrible. Definitely sitting down too low, but what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to work the nose down instead of bringing the tail up. All right, so what's the nose set to? The nose is set to 5,000. All right, that's there. Let's bring that down to 4,500. All right. Okay. What was the other one I did? Check chat in a second. I'm not gonna stay up too much longer. This is being a pain in the ass to balance out for some reason. It's Probably, I know probably what it is. I don't think I can move those without causing problems. Yeah, so I gotta work on the back one to make it work. All right. Yeah, I gotta work on the back one to make it work. All right, so this should be the back one here. Let's go 7. Just keep dialing that in because the rockets in the engine nacelles are also behind the center of gravity, so that's going to cause problems. So I got to correct for that. All right, good. So that's getting where we want it. It's sitting flat, so just got to dial that number down. All right, let's see. Did I save it? Yep. Okay. Yeah, I like the pusher props too. All right, good. So we're getting close. See how it's now leaning forward? So the rear is starting to take some of the effect off of putting the added mass behind the center of gravity. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to leave the tail and I'm going to add to the rear mass. So let's do this. All right, and so I got to find... All right, so these are the 4500s here. And I'm going to add to these. And I'm going to make them 5 bones. Or let's do 4750. 4750. All right, let's try that. Let's start slow. Let's not jump the gun on this. We're starting to dial it in. I don't want to overshoot. All right, so even that's too much. So let's do, they're 4,500. Let's do 4,650. So add 100 each. It's kind of a delicate balancing act now, just trying to get that tail up. And a little bit of level. Not terrible. It's too much angle of attack. Let's do, what do we add? 200? We added about 200. So let's go back into the tail. Where was the tail? And let's take 200 out of the tail. There it is. Because I don't want to take too much mass out because it's going to get blown around too much by the wind. All right, I'm going to add a little mass to the front. All right, so the front's sitting down lower. Let's do a quick flight out of the water. I might have issues with the with not having the fins in the water to get the nose out, but that's probably what's going to happen. But let's go ahead and try something, and I'll work on this another time. I know what I need to do, so I need to move the weight adds. I need to put them right at the center of gravity, or else I'm gonna have to spend all year balancing this friggin' thing. This thing is gonna scream as well. Yeah, this is gonna be fast. Yeah, so some of that water issue can be fixed with fins, but putting the motors, putting them back here is a problem. I gotta put them right up front here. I gotta put them up towards the center of gravity. Up. That's causing me problems, as you can see. Alright, good. I just want to check the speed real quick. You try to get this out of the water again, and I just want to check linear speed here. That'll finish up. Alright, I want to see what speed we're doing here. Alright, that's 88 meters per second. So 88 times 1.94, that's 88 times 1.94. That's 170 knots right now, so that's pretty good speed. Let's go ahead and start changing the prop pitch. Alright, so I'm changing it's called collective in game, but it's the prop pitch, the pitch of the propellers. And so I've got my constant speed propeller in there, so what I'm doing is I'm setting a higher RPS, or I want a lower RPS, and so it's going to increase the blade pitch to get me that. And so you want low pitch, high RPM for takeoff and landing, which is what we had. And then as we start to increase the blade pitch, we're going to go faster. And then eventually we're going to keep increasing the blade pitch, and we're going to go slower and slower because we start overloading the engine. That puts us into the efficiency territory. How's it going, Alistair? Good to see you. I'll go ahead and check chat in a second here, guys. All right, so right now we're doing about 195 knots. Keep bringing the props back. I want to see what the max speed is. Up. We're having problems here. All right. I missed what. So 108. Let's bring this back. All right, good. So good progress on this. Making some good progress. So let's see what the final high speed was 108 times 1.94. That's 209 knots, so pretty good. Let's catch up on chat, and then I think I'll finish up. And good to see you, Alistair. All right, let's see. Oh, another guy on Twitch to boot. I don't know why I even bother streaming on Twitch anymore. It's just constantly bots. It's very frustrating. Should stop streaming on there at all. Can't get their bots in order. I'll just stop streaming on there. Constantly spend all my time just kicking bots. But hello, Alistair. Good to see you. Going well. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I wanted to do a pusher prop on this. That was a big part of what I wanted to do, so that's a big part of the design choice on here. I might start trying to de-glitchify this a little bit and see if I can make it work without the glitches. I should be able to. A puller prop is so much easier to do this prop pitch with for the correction. The other thing I could do is slide the engine nacelles forward and get the center of thrust closer to the center of gravity. That will lessen the lever. That will shorten the lever arm. So, let me see. I'm trying to. I'll do a quick graphic here. All right, so like, I'm trying to think the best way to show you this. All right, so here is your pivot point, right? And so your pivot point is going to be your center of gravity. So that's your CG, and we'll get fancy with this. Where's the line? I won't get too fancy with it, but that's your center of gravity right here. And so with your center of gravity, that's going to be your pivot point. Let's do this. We'll actually make it look like a CG marker. Alright, you sucker. Gotta make life difficult every time, huh? Watch Alistair do a... Okay, so there's your CG marker right there, alright? And so that's going to be your center of pivot, is your center of gravity, alright? Now, ideally, if you were to put your center of thrust right at your center of gravity, it's going to push the plane straight ahead, right? So if it was here, right, if that was where your center of thrust was, it's going to push it, right, in the opposite direction. It's going to push it right there, right? It's equal. It pushes the gravity this way. And you could test this yourself if you took a, like say you had a heavy file cabinet, right, and the mass is in the middle. If you push the top of the file cabinet, it's going to try to tip the cabinet over toward the front. If you push it below the center of gravity, the cabinet's going to try to tip towards you and crush you. If you push right at the center of gravity, it's going to slide. And so that's what's happening here is we're pushing the thrust backwards. It pushes the vehicle forwards, and it will go because the center of gravity there. And you're not going to have much pitching issues. Now, if your center of thrust, like it was with us, is up here, right, it's going to pivot off of this, and that's your pivot point. So if it's above your pivot point, right, it's going to cause it to go down like this. And so, yes, it'll make it go forward, but also make it go down. And so one of the ways you can fix this is move the CG up, right, in line with center of thrust, right? The other thing you can do is you can change the angle of your center of thrust. So we did that where you push it down like this, and now the resultant lift vector, right, instead of going down like this, it's more like this. And so we're pushing up like this, and it's pushing both up and forward, and because it's pushing both up and forward, it's reducing this resultant thrust vector. So that's some things you can do. All right. Let's see what else I'm trying to think. So the other thing is you can shorten the lever arm, right? So the higher the center of thrust, the greater the pushing down moment, because the longer the lever arm, right, the more torque you get. And you can test this yourself by having a long wrench, right? The longer the wrench, you can turn some really stuck bolts with. You have a tiny little wrench, you can't do it. So one of the ways you can mitigate this is you reduce the distance between the center of thrust and the center of gravity. So that's what I was trying to do most recently. By reducing the center of thrust and center of gravity, the distance between them, my resultant lift vector pushing down is smaller, right? Same thing if you put it down below, right? This happens in boats a lot. You'll see people that push the bows up. It looks like that, right? You put it further down, it looks like that, right? Because it's further, you have a longer lever arm, it's going to push it up. All right. And so, like, one of the ways boats combat this, right, is they angle the propeller down, right? If they angle the propeller down, it still pushes the bow up, but by much less. And then you can, say, counteract it with a trim tab, which causes the stern to go up, right? And that counteracts this. It makes that reduce even more, and then you get a boat that behaves better. Right. So those are all kind of ideas we can do to try to solve this. Part of the thing with the glitches is putting in the glitches because, again, right, things don't float as well as they should in game. And because of that, I can't make my seaplane just naturally float right. And so and the engines in a real airplane are one of the heavier components, right? Engines and fuel. And so it's hard for me to get the center of gravity up. Now, one thing I could do in game is, which I kind of like this idea, but if it's going to cause me problems, I will not do it. One of the things I can do is I put fuel in the pontoons. That lowers the center of gravity right around the pontoon. I could get rid of the fuel in the pontoons and try to just run out of the wings or add bigger tanks in the wings by extending up here and putting more fuel up in the wings, and that will make it so that I have a higher center of gravity. But these are all things I got to screw around with. All right, let's catch up with chat, and then I think I'm going to go to bed. Yeah. How fast does your Dash 8 go? Especially if it's a turboprop, should be able to get the thing whipping. Yeah, and that's what torque is all about. That's what a lever arm is. It literally is a lever, right? We all know what lever is and what leverage is, and the longer the lever, right? The saying, if you give me a lever long enough and I'll move the world, right? It's the longer your lever arm, the further it is from your center of pivot, right? Which in our case is the center of gravity. The greater the effect it has, right? And so, like, here, we'll go back to that example real quick. Right, so another thing you can do, talking about this, right, is so you can have a long lever arm and a little bit of thrust, and it will have a large effect, right? Because the lever arm is long, you push a little bit, and it causes it to go down substantially, right? You can also do the same thing by, let's do this. You could also have a shorter lever arm and a lot more thrust and get the same effect. But you need all this thrust, and where before we needed a little bit of thrust up high. All right, we all know that, right? You take a wrench that's 10 feet long, you can push it with your pinky, and you can pop the bolt and probably snap the bolt, right? That's why they use something called a cheater bar. Let me see if we can get picture of a cheater bar. So a cheater bar is a, you take like a piece of pipe, and you put that piece of pipe on the end of your wrench, and you can make a wrench that's like 10 feet long. And the thing with a cheater bar is you'll often snap something because the amount of torque that you can put on something is immense when you're starting to get really, really long cheater bars. So here's one. Good picture of one. So there's one from the inner tubes. She's got a long pipe on this wrench to try to break that off. Got one here. They're trying to do a come along for a tank. And they've got a cheater bar on it. Yeah, you got to be careful. Like, see, they got a pipe, and it's on the end of a come along here, or a not a come along, I forget what the hell that's called. It's what you tighten the chain up with. It looks like a bulldozer. And so you got three guys with this long pipe, and they can put so much more torque on there. Plus, they can get three dudes on there where, like, they're not going to be able to grab that little come along there. But again, these are all physics things that I know the game's not perfect, perfectly one-to-one with physics, but you can take, things that you know about physics and then expand it in the game, and it works, Yeah, that's why like breaker bars are dangerous if you're not careful. Like a breaker bar is just a bar that you can hook a socket to, generally with a very long handle, and you can bust some nuts off that are sometimes you can't get with a rattle gun. $140 max with the oh, you're using pistons, yeah. All right, so I think we'll finish up here. Made some good progress on this. Seaplane is not easy by any stretch of the imagination because again, we have buoyancy problems in game. And so because of the buoyancy problems, I have to screw around a bunch. I have to do things like the glitches to get this sucker to float. I need to do the glitches to get it to float right, and then got a bunch of stuff that goes on with seaplanes. I have to go ahead and put in fins so that I counteract the drag of the water to get it to come up and plane. So I got a bunch of things to do, but it's been fun working on it. It's been fun getting back to Career Build Series. It was good to see everybody. If you liked the video, give it a like. If you're new and you haven't subscribed, consider subscribing, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.